my coffee break, and it's a follow-up or a preface to the video that I made about the DeWALT the DCP580. Was that 580? Yes, it's 580. The DCP580 hand planer, or the electric planer with the battery. And I just want to say that the video you're about to see, there are parts of it where I'm trying to describe how to take apart the holder for the blade and to adjust the position of the blade on the holder. And all I want to say is this will become, I didn't do such a good job at it because I wasn't able to focus in on it working alone and in the way I was trying to do things. I didn't have the tools I needed to make it work that way. But what I would like to say is, if you do take it apart, it's very easy to take apart, it's very easy to put back together, and they supply you with all the tools that you need, at least DeWALT does, to do the blade adjustment. What I did not realize, and like any hand plane, even non-electric ones, you know, they're not set up right out of the box. You have to sharpen the blades in most of them, and most of them you have to set the blade so that it's taking a good cut. And the thing that I ended up using was a number 7 plane, you know, a joiner plane, to flatten the top of that table as best I could by hand because of the gouging that this this DeWALT DCP580 put into the thing, only to find out that it was my fault because, like any plane, I should have set it up from the beginning properly. And I didn't do that. I just pulled it right out of the box because it seemed like all the videos I was watching, that's what they were doing. They were pulling them out of the box and going to town with, you know, planing. I don't know why I thought that would work, but it didn't. So what you're about to try to see, you'll see much of what I did at the end points of putting the blade back in, but the adjustment part of it didn't come through very clearly. But I will say this, it is very clear once you take it apart and once you begin to use the little plastic setting gauge that they give you, how to deal with these things. And you'll see it clearly when you pull it apart. And that's what I didn't do. I was afraid to pull it apart because I didn't know if things were just going to fall out and I wouldn't know how to get them back together again. And they give you a little diagram. It's not intuitive up front, but once you do it, it becomes very intuitive. So that's all I want to say about this, and I hope that you have good luck trying to tune your plane up, but make sure you tune it before you use it. Otherwise you'll have the same experience I had. And it'll probably work far better on hardwoods than it does in, you know, soft pine, but that remains to be seen. Some of the pine I've been getting hasn't been that good. Anyway, thank you. Okay, so I purchased this DCP580P bare bones electric planer, battery powered, and a battery for it just recently to try to plane down the center line on 2 pieces of a bunch of glued together 2x4 boards, just to get that center point. The rest of it I ran through my my DeWALT 13-inch planer, and that went well. But you know, it's pine and pine is soft, so I decided to try this on that because I thought this was a good option for getting that center line down, and it gouged it. And what I found out was, if you were to take a T-square across the top of it, you can see that you can't see it that well, but at the contact points, the T-square is meeting, or the 2 front and rear part of the bed on this planer are even. So they're flat, set on 0, which is the way it's supposed to be. Now I already set this one up, I marked it with an X, so you can see that if you get it up on top and It's right there, and it doesn't hit on either side. I can't do it standing up like this, but it does not hit on either side. And that's what I want to achieve on the other side, and I'll show you what I did, because there's nothing out there online that I can find except some guy who ripped apart the knob here, twisted it, and said now it's been zeroed. And that is definitely not the case. So let's go about doing this. Okay, DeWALT supplies me with 3 tools. There's a T-handle style wrench and this plastic jig here, which is used to straighten out and level the frog, or what, not the frog, but the piece, the chip breaker piece that holds the blade. And of course there's this little thing here, which is a star drive, which is actually nice to semi-tighten things up so you can get things aligned after the fact. Don't lose those if you get that with this, because I found that they are important, and you know, they do come in handy for this little operation. Also, having a some sort of a magnet that you can pick parts up with also helps, because I found that getting a magnet on these things and lifting them out is very easy to do. So that's that. Okay, so as you can see, this is the side that I did. Oops, I hope that's still in focus. I put some X's on it because I already done that, and you know, what I was trying to show before, but you probably can't see this at this angle, is, but you can hear it. It does not hit, and if I look down it, I can see that it is just clearing it right there. That's beautiful. And the same thing on this side, which is another issue because you have to get both sides even. I don't know if you can see it, but the blade is out maybe the length of the thickness of this on that side, maybe a little bit less on this side, but that's all you really need. Just keep it even in the center of the thing. Now, the other side, this is the side I have not done. Okay. Now, what I have this thing mounted in, I do not have a vise yet. My table's in progress, and my workshop table's in progress, and my old vise broke. So I have to mount a vise into this table. I just haven't gotten there yet. And I'm working on this tabletop that I messed up because of this planer. But I've accepted what I've done, and it's okay. Now with this one, let's see if we can hear. It hit. Now that side's not hitting, and this side is not hitting either. So apparently this is the one I did before, but that's okay. I'm going to do this again because I want to show you the process. That way I can be sure that it's right anyway. And let's get started. Bring all these tools over. Try not to step on the camera. Not necessary junk out of the way. Let's see if I'm still in focus here. And no, I am not. How well that went. So let's stop it and see how well that went. I put that in an autofocus continuous mode. Hopefully that'll hold this. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take these off. Now this is also, it's mounted on top of a Sears plastic miter box that I bought many years ago. And that's what's kind of holding it here. Like I said, I wish I had a vise, but I don't have a vise right now. I have a metal vise, which really I don't want to use on this. Okay, so they've been loosened. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out. Let me find my, here it is. This is my magnet. And I'll take the end screws out first. I'm going to pull this whole assembly out. Okay. Only it matters what order they're in, but keep them that way. Now here's where the magnet helps. That takes that part off. And that's, I guess that's what's called your chip breaker or whatever. And then there's the blade holder, which is this thing here. The blade goes underneath of this. Okay, there's your blade. You can see it. It's double-sided, and this is relatively new. I've only used it a little bit because it's screwed up. To set that aside, and then this piece just comes right off, and that's open. Okay, now as you can see, there's an adjustment on here, and this is where this plastic piece comes in handy. I don't know if I can push this out of the way and make this work, but let's see if we can. Here's the plastic piece. Now, there's a couple different ways we can look at this. This has to, as far as I know, that this has to go down inside of this. And then there's this thing here, which needs to be even. Okay. And there's like that. Now you can do this on the other side. Also has a setup where these things go on this, and there's a little thing that sticks above too, so gives you that little extra. Now, I don't know. Let's put the blade in there and see what happens. Yeah. Yeah, okay. And that's what we want. We want that blade in there. And that should be pretty much zeroed out. And then we can see if there's a gap here when you got it in there. And I do not see a gap. So I'm going to point it out right there and there. Do not see a gap. And this thing is shoved up against this as hard as it'll go. So I would have to say that this thing is set up pretty well, but if not, you simply take these screws and you keep this thing set in that position and you move this up and down and then tighten the screws as long as it's in that locked in configuration. Now let's see what happens if I put it on the other side. Yeah, same deal. So it's omnidirectional. Okay, once again, there's no gap there. You can see it's very dark. No gap there and no gap there. So this thing's already set. I'm not going, oh, nope, the blade moved. So maybe not. Let's try again. Put the blade down in there. Right. Look at it the way it's supposed to look. Well, once again, it's properly done. Okay, so this is the one that was set up okay from the factory. And you can see there's a little bit of space left there. If I had to move it, I could. So I'm not going to bother with that, but that's the one thing that is nobody has shown me yet anywhere is how to adjust this, and that's how you adjust that, and that's what this plastic piece is for. It's for making that adjustment and making sure everything is squared in there properly. Oh, look at that. So yeah, how about that? In fact, that's a little loose. Maybe we're going to adjust it a hair. So where's my screwdriver? I did have one of those because I did the other one, didn't I? There it is. Okay. I'll loosen those two screws up. This should move forward slightly to wedge that in there. And this needs to be clamped together like that. I'll clamp it tight on both sides, make sure it's even. Tighten these back down. And in theory, the blade is properly adjusted for height. Okay, now we're going to put this back together. Alright. Put this on here like this. This has a notch that this thing rides in. So you don't have to put the blade in right away either. That's another deal. Pull it back. I'm not showing it to you, am I? Let's pull this back in the field of vision. Okay, so as I was saying before, this has this notch here, and these two things ride in this little space in here. Maybe I should get out the brush or some sort of something to run through there to keep that dirt out of there. There we go. That's it. And by the way, I don't have my compressor hooked up, otherwise you'd hear that running, and that would make a big difference in the way things go here. I'll just blow it all out, but I can't do that. And here's why you need the magnet. Because that just moves. I'm going to bolt this top piece down. Okay, and if I remember correctly, the short part goes to the front where the blade is. So it goes like this. Alright. I hope this is staying in focus, because if not, it's kind of a waste. Okay. Now let's do the center one first. And the other ones can, I don't want to tighten them, I just want to spin them down so that they're movable and adjustable at this point. Now this is where hopefully I have both enough room. I'll slide the blade back in. The blade only goes in, well, it goes in, it's got two edges, but it only goes in one direction on this piece here, which holds it down, because that notch is what holds the whole thing down. And obviously it's a little tight. Spin it a little looser. There we go. Make sure this is in correctly. I don't feel it making, there it is. Nope. Okay, that's engaged. And you can feel when the blade's notch is engaged in the chip breaker or the frog holder or whatever that thing is there. And now I'm going to try to even these out as much as possible. You can do that by eye. I don't think there's a balance issue here with this. Okay. And now we're going to do this, tighten them down just enough to hold it steady. Okay, now is when we do the check. Hopefully nothing rubs on that side. Nothing rubs on that side. How close are we? I can't get down on it right. There we go. That's the top. It's not exactly what I would call perfectly even yet. This side is up where it should be. This side, on this side, needs to come up a little bit, just a hair. And what I did before is I took a piece of wood dowel and a little brass thing and just kind of tapped it up just a hair, not to knock it out of the holder, but just enough to move it. See what we get there. Oh yeah, that's much better. Not touching. Not touching. And perfectly. Almost perfectly. It's just a little down on that side now. So I wonder if just a little bit of persuasion this way. And that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Okay. Now, take this, tighten them slowly. And grab. You want to make sure it's tight. Yeah, that looks good. There it is. I don't know why this doesn't engage perfectly, but it does engage. Okay. And you know something, I should go back and look at the manual and see if there's a torque value for this, because it would be much better if I knew that too. But the manual's okay, nothing hitting. Nothing hitting. We got a pretty much equal amount sticking out on that side. And see if it's yeah. That's perfect. Okay, I feel much better. It is now zeroed. Okay, I hope you saw some of that. Obviously this thing moved around a bit. Okay. Okay. And let's see if I can this is the operation according to the manual that I just performed. And that's what they show you. So, you know, it's not clear until you take it apart, and then it becomes clear to you what you're doing. So, and they also offer a different style blade which fits in there. But I think I'm fine now that I've got this zeroed out. Okay. Okay, well, let's try it out and see what happens. Plug it in. There we go. That's good. Wait there. Okay, that moved. That's not good. That's what I'm afraid of. Okay. Try it again. nothing there. Let's go 1 notch. 0 to 1 notch. Which I did not want to do. Little snipe. Not bad. I took a good pass. 1 more notch, see what we get. It's much better. Yeah. That's good. Okay. Unplug it. Got there. Yep. Yep. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Success. Okay, so I like this tool. Now it's adjusted. I wish I had adjusted it before. I did not, and I gouged my project, but you live, you learn, and that's what happens. I apologize for the focus on the camera. I have a macro lens on it, and the macro lens can focus in very nicely on small things, but then it will change focus as you move things around. And if I don't get it centered properly, you can't get everything in there. That's why I gave you the picture in the manual. You get the general idea. And I'm sorry if I bored you for a while with that. But I am very happy now that this is fixed and this is the way it's supposed to be. And I wish I had done it from the start, but I did not. So thank you. And I hope it's better than anything you can find out there online, because I certainly didn't find what I needed. And now I know what to do. And I definitely say pull it apart and figure it out, because it's not as bad as it looks.